Hey, good morning. Good morning. We're going to get started here shortly. We're going to give people a little more time to come on in on today. Good morning. I did a whole speech and did not know that I was not on that I was not speaking. I went to go on mute. And Brian, I thought I was talking this whole time. My God, today. Well, good morning. Good morning. I want to thank you all so much for being here. I've done a good introduction and everything, and y'all didn't hear any of that. But here we are on today with my millionaire mentor, Brian Jubert. This is the second week that we've been talking about limited belief system blockages, and they go hand in hand with money, taxes, and all of those things. My millionaire mentor has been in the tax industry for over 30 years, and I have about 12 years in the game with it. And so we love to give you information. And we've seen so much as far as it pertains to mindset, when it comes to your taxes in your business, when it comes to your personal taxes and all of that. And for some reason, people are simply intimidated by that whole entire industry. But we're here to give you tools and tips coming in here every Tuesday morning. I'll introduce myself and then I'll let Brian introduce himself. For those that will come back for the replay, I am Dr. Tavis Taylor. I'm a business strategist, but I help to shift your mindset using my PhD in positive neuropsychology to help you shift your mindset in all areas. And I show you how your behavior is tied to your mindset. And I love what I do because whether it's in business, ministry, marketplace, once I can show you the root of where the root causes of why you do a thing and shift your mindset and give you some new tools and tips, whatever area that's in, then you're able to navigate into the next spaces that you're called into. And so I'm blessed to be able to partner with my millionaire mentor in this space because he mentors me. He shifted my mindset financially. And so sometimes we are an iron sharpening iron. And so I'm grateful that he's here with us on today. On last week, we talked about limited beliefs, blockages. I'm going to give you those, but we're also going to give you some tips on how to start working on those blockages. And one of those is to hire a great tax professional, a tax specialist like Mr. Brian Jubert. Hey, Brian, introduce yourself.
Good morning, Dr. Tavis and everyone. Hey, you owe me a new iPhone because I was pushing my button thinking my volume was down, thinking my phone was broke. I was banging my phone again, thinking it wasn't working. It was me, and all the time it was you. So I think I may have broke my phone. So you owe me a new iPhone. But yeah, I pushed that button, that volume button. I was like, I know it worked. And it was hooked to the Bluetooth. I cut it off. I was trying all kind of stuff. But I'm glad you're here. I'm glad we're here. So I hope everyone is well this morning. Yeah, it's a beautiful day, man, and I love this. My name is Brian Jubert. Like I say, 27 years in the tax business, over 30 years as an entrepreneur, specializing in business taxes, real estate, and this is my love. This is my passion. The taxes, teaching, business. I love this, man, and so the key to being, I guess I would say, beneficial in the tax industry is understanding what you need to keep up with, how you need to keep up with. I'll talk about that a little bit today. And the way you get and build success is understanding how to keep more of your money. And a lot of our money is tied up in taxes. Are we giving the government too much of our money? So it's hard to build success. It's hard to build wealth when you're splitting your money 50% of the time and 50% of the income. So, let's change the narrative, man, and start positioning ourselves and start learning the things that we need to learn. And that's why we're here today. So let's make it a great day, a powerful day, and let's implement what we learn.
So, Brian, you said something, and we'll get to the limited beliefs. And you said something that made me want to offer this to everybody because it is a new year, right? The guilt that most people felt at the end of the year when we were talking, including me in some areas. You have time now to go back and make those changes. Something that I need to change in one of my businesses, actually two of my businesses that I pay taxes on, that I need to change that I haven't changed, and I'm going to do that on this year, and I'm going to celebrate that milestone, Brian. I'll get with you and tell you what it is, but I'm going to celebrate that milestone this year and make those necessary changes. Um, this year for my businesses as well. So thank you so much, Brian, for all that you do. I will let you all know that you have these conversations and you're in these conversations today. And what happened is you may not take action today, but you eventually you're going to take the necessary action that it takes place, because guess what we're doing? We're massaging your reticular activating system, and the RAS part of your brain is a part that you, whatever you feed it is what you filter and you attract. So the more you're having these conversations and these dialogues, the more you are starting to attract the conversation, which in turn, from a neuropsychological perspective, will change your behavior, and your behavior will coincide with what you're bringing in. So on last week, we talked about limited beliefs, and there were several that we talked about. One of them is money is the root of all evil. And if you grew up Black Baptist in the South, that was one thing that you heard. And so we got to change that negative perspective, because the Bible doesn't say that money is the root of all evil. It said the love of money. And so there is a big difference. When people make money their God, it's okay to want to make it, but it's when it becomes your God, and you are open to doing anything for it. Another one is, do you believe that you can become rich, or that you deserve to be rich? Sometimes when you feel unworthy of wealth, it can lead to self sabotage, and it can prevent you from pursuing opportunities. Have you ever been one of those that when you get money, you got to spend it right away? You got to give it away. You got to get this person, that person, this person, that person. That's something I've had to overcome. I'll be transparent with my walk, because, I'm transparent and you be reflective. If somebody gives you, XYZ123, give you something, and you feel like, okay, let me see, I need to give something to my child, I need to give this to this, what if God sent you a blessing for you not to give out? I've been so guilty of that. And I've made a commitment that just because God blesses me with money doesn't mean that I have to give it out. Is there anybody else that when you get blessed, you think, okay, let me give my mama, let me give this person, let me give that person, and you don't just settle in the fact that God might have just blessed you with $30 or $5,000 or $10,000? So I'm not the only one. Let me do this for my children. Let me do that for my children. That's a limited belief. That is a limited belief. And when I tell you, it's when God dealt with me on that, I was like, every time I bless you, you give it away. You have given away hundreds of thousands of dollars. I blessed you with it, and you've given it away. But here is the thing. This is why I can tell you that my reticular activating system is being massaged, because somebody blessed me this week, and I was like, let me sow into, and Holy Spirit said, no. And for the very first time, I said, okay, I'm going to sit with this with Tabitha, not with Adrian, not with somebody else, not with a mentor. I had to sit with it with myself. And I'm going to tell you this: nobody died, nobody lost their life, because I sat with that blessing that was given to Tabitha. Brian, that's a limited belief that we need to talk about. Can we discuss that? Because guess what? There'll be some moms that get a tax return, and they're already planning on what they're going to do with their children. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, instead of sitting with it. Now, here is the thing. Remember when you told us, was it 2 years ago, what to do with the return and all of that money? I can proudly say, everything you told me to do with that extra money, I did it. Everything that you told me to do, a third with this, a third. I did exactly what you told me to do, and I was so proud. And when I tell you, I'm proud of my Roth IRA. I'm proud of the fact that I put into it every year, because you came and you said, no, do this with the money anyway. That's a limited belief as it pertains to taxes that we have to shift, Brian. And as your mentee, I want you to know that I took those necessary steps, and I'm continuing to take those necessary steps. And I am believing exactly what you said, and I'm implementing, Brian. Let's talk about that limited belief. Of time you get some money, you feel like it's somebody else that you got. Let me do this for this one. Let me do that for this one. If you keep it and you save it, nobody is going to die. Everybody's going to be okay. I want to see emojis again, because I want Brian to know that he's talking to some people in the room. If you have ever done that, I want you to put an exclamation point up and be like, If you, Joanne says she's done it, she's gotten some extra and she gave it right back out. Miss Jennifer, Miss Ashley, Michelle, look, Brian, look at all these exclamation points. My God, today. Let's talk about that particular limited belief. This is juicy already. That wasn't even in my notes. Brian, let's discuss that, because guess what? We're going to save that $1,000. We're going to stop giving out everything that's given to us. We're going to stop taking our extra money, giving it away. Maybe we need to have a class and build a pretty little box so we can keep it in the top of our closet. Well, I did buy that notebook that we talked about. I did buy that for me and Adrian to be able to place the money in that space. Let's talk, Brian.
Well, yes, Dr. Tab, I see that, and see, and one of the limited beliefs that people don't even realize is they be believing they the only person that go through things and do the same things. So right now, this shows you that you're not the only person. A lot of times we so hard on ourselves because we doing something and we don't think it's right. We're not manifesting, and we're thinking we're down on ourselves and we calling ourselves certain names. But look at the hands of we've had more than half of the people on this call raised their hand and said that they were in the same boat. They did the same thing. And that's with probably most things you do in life, especially when it comes to finance, because we just don't know. So stop believing that you're the only person. Like when somebody tell me something and they get the answer right, I be way surprised. I'd be way surprised, man, because I be expecting most people not to know, to be honest with you. And that's not from a negative standpoint, that's from an experience standpoint. Just over time, like I said, just sitting with people for over 30 years, I've seen that most people don't know about finance. Most people have the same trend, especially in our community. We have the same trend of the things that we do, the things that we don't know. So basically stop being hard on yourself for not knowing and say, well, you know what? I'm gonna take myself out of that and I'm gonna learn. Because that's crazy because only probably about three people didn't raise their hand. So understand, man, we are in the majority when it comes to learning that information. Um, and when you talk about, Tab, you mentioned about, just having money, giving it away. And I'm gonna tell y'all something that might seem shocking. And if you again listen to rich and successful people, wealthy people, you'll hear most of them saying that they not really spending their money on their children. They're spending their money on themselves. And we gotta learn to take care of us first. And not to take care, not that you're not gonna take care of your child. Know what I always say? I'm gonna spend all my money while I'm living. Now I'm gonna make sure that my child has her necessities. But I'm gonna feed her mind. But the thing is, I'm gonna create legacy plans for her. So when I do pass, she can live her life to the fullest because now I've left legacy plans. So I'm gonna leave her money, but I don't have to give her all the money because right now I still have my life to live. And if I don't maximize my life and live my life to my highest joy, then I'm not gonna be good for everybody else. Because if I ain't right with me, I can't be right for you. So you have to live your destined life and put things in place. And I always say, I don't mind leaving my child a bunch of money. But if I don't, I'm gonna leave her a bunch of knowledge, bunch of information, and a bunch of legacy. And when I say legacy, that's just life insurance plans and all that. So she'll be an instant millionaire when I pass. And then she can live her life the same way, and hopefully she implement it for her child and her child's child. And that's basically generational wealth there. That have to be your mindset. So you got to not always think about giving it. You got to give to you sometime and make sure that you're fulfilled and you're happy, especially when we start getting these adult children. When we get these adult children, this is a point where we got to start teaching them to fend for themselves and not beg for themselves. Yes, we don't want our child to suffer. We don't want them to go through stuff. But we always talk about these kids today. They don't know. You know why these kids today? Because we ain't letting them go through nothing. We talk about our character and all the things we did, what built us, what made us, because we went through stuff. So we have to shift our mindset and stop giving everything away. And because it's a guilt factor. And that's why you do it. Most of us, when we get money, and like Taz was saying, how everybody agreed, how they get money, they give it away because it's a guilt factor. It's almost like we feel guilty because we have and somebody else don't have at the moment. But then we cry about we can't get from nobody when we don't have. Ain't nobody feeling guilty for you. And so sometimes we gotta let people basically go through these things, man. It's okay. If we say it builds character, then we got to let people build character. And so take care of you. Stop giving away everything. I'm not saying don't help people, because I help people all the time. But I always say it too. You can't help the poor by being one of them. And you're struggling. It's no, it, like for me, I'm not impressed when you tell me that you didn't have, but you gave to somebody in most cases. Because again, you basically are suffering, you're mentally distressed. You have all of these things that you're going through mentally because you're financial. And so it's not gonna always be a blessing. God still gives you some common sense. And so sometimes he's gonna let you suffer for not making those type of decisions. So you ain't gonna be able to save the world. Save your world first. Save your world first. And then you can save everybody else. And I ain't gonna even go back to the plane and what they say on the plane, because everybody already know that. And it might seem selfish, but sometimes you have to be selfish to be successful. You have to be selfish to be successful. Because again, you're not gonna build you if you're not. If you're spreading yourself 10 different ways and you're giving yourself 10%, because you done gave the other 90 away to everybody else, tell me how you believe you truly gonna be successful. And you gotta shift that mindset. You gotta that money belief is that if I give everybody, I'm gonna get back. I guarantee you, look at that. Look at your life and look how it's been gone. And tell me, at what point have you basically been given to several people, spreading yourself thin, been broke, and it's really come back to you in that fold? It's not too many times it's gonna come to you in lump. What happens is money attracts money, and then you help. Money attracts money. So when you start making money and you start doing well, believe me, people start bringing you more money because people want to be associated with that. And that's when you now start to bless everybody the way you want to. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, Brian. I was putting that in the chat. That was good. That I'm gonna take some of these quotes and put it on social media, on a flyer, on a picture. When I tell you we dropping nuggets in here today, y'all better catch them on today. Listen, so that limited belief, and so we have to get to the root cause of why is it that when we get money we feel like we have to give it out. Like I was so guilty of that. When I tell you I was so guilty of that, and I knew that I don't think at the time I knew it was a limited belief, but I had to look back and look at things. And I was sewing into everybody's conference and everybody's everything and doing this and doing that. And then when I had my conference, I sent some information out to some people. Nobody said a word. Nobody said a peep. And so one of my friends laughed at me and he said, "You're the only dummy that's giving money away. People don't give their money away." And I had to learn that. I really, really had to learn that. They don't give their money away. They don't give their products away. And so honestly, Brian, I've had to really, really um um I had to really hone in on, okay, Tavis, what are you doing? What are you doing? Are you going to be a popper in ministry, or are you going to be the person that you were created to be? I mean, I make multiple six figures, but Brian, I should be in the millionaire status by now. But it's okay because I learned some very good lessons, so that I would rather, Dre, make these mistakes or take my learning lessons on this level than having to get them when I'm on the next level and lose it from that perspective. And so I'm super excited about this conversation because I've had to shift my money mindset. And so in shifting my money mindset, I've had to, it started, Brian, though, it's really started years ago. So what some of you have to realize is that we have like a machete coming to for the cobwebs of generational beliefs that's ingrained in your subconscious. And so remember, Brian, you gave me the book, The Secrets to a Millionaire Mindset, years ago. But it's when I reconnected on this level that my mindset, money mindset, is slowly but surely shifting. and shifting and shifting. And I'm consciously working on it. I have 5 money books that I'm going to listen to in January and February and put them on repeat. I'm not listening just to listen. I'm listening to get it in my subconscious. I'm listening to get it down packed because I have children and grandchildren who I will be the one that purchase their first home or give them the down payment for their first home. My grandchildren will have homes in their name. They will have legacies before they're 5 years old. But that's because it's starting with me and me consciously saying, wait a second, you just received that. And now you can ready to give it to who and who and who. First of all, why would you send it to them? Second of all, what are they? So I had to take a look at my relationships, right? I had to take a look at why am I allowing people to take classes for free? I had to take a look at why am I giving this money away? Why am I sewing into them? Why do I? Ain't nobody just haphazardly sewing into me. So why am I doing these things? And I had to check what is my issue with money. So I'm going to tell y'all some of these limited belief thoughts. And if it hits you, then we're going to get to the bottom of it and may have to do inner healing and deliverance at some point. Money is the root of all evil. I don't deserve to be rich. Money is scarce and hard to come by. We could take these and just rip these apart. Rich people are greedy and dishonest. So let me do this. Money is the root of all evil. You've heard that before. I don't deserve to be rich. Listen, that means you're feeling unworthy of wealth and you self-sabotage and you prevent yourself from receiving or pursuing opportunities for financial abundance. I'd rather stay here and make this $50,000 and go over there and have to work hard. I want to work hard for the 80,000, right? Money is scarce and hard to come by. Oh God, this all I make. All I make is you ain't thought about getting another business, and if you did, you ain't did the work on it. You're staying stuck because in your subconscious you believe that money is scarce because all I make is $50 an hour and that's the maximum I'm gonna make. What about what God has given you in your hands to do? And I'm telling you, this belief system right here, it is rooted in lack and scarcity. So it makes it difficult for you to attract and manifest financial opportunities. So you won't make money in your business because I'm not gonna make money in my business. And it's a recession now, and people ain't making money. Instead of you being creative and saying, okay, well, people may not be spending on that end, but I can create this and they'll spend here. Because Brian has taught us some money is better than no money. Some money is better than no money. I'll never be able to make enough money. When you feel like that's a self-fulfilling prophecy. This is what I make on my job. This is the maximum that nurses make. This is the maximum that teachers make. This is all I have. I had to tell one of my clients, she's a nurse. I said, what are you complaining about money for? You need to go get another job. You need to pick up a shift. There is not one nurse that I know should be complaining about money, not narrow a one. When I say not one, my mother is a nurse. When my mom wanted to do something interesting that she knew, because she didn't pay no bills, my dad had paid all the bills, she would pick up her shift. Not one nurse should be broke. I'm sorry. Not one nurse in good standing should be broke. You can go and you can pick up a shift. But I'll say not one person with the internet should be broke. Because you can start a class, you can do the work to start making money. Okay, we're going to continue this journey. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, one of the things I wanted to say too is what I do sometimes, and I've done, is when you in that position where you want to help somebody, and like we just talked about, you can't save everybody. You don't feel guilty about when you get money, you got to give it out because somebody else is not. There's gonna always be somebody who ain't gonna have. So if you're trying to help everybody, like I said, you eventually gonna exhaust all your funds. But one of the things I do is when people come to me and ask me about borrowing money or if I want to help somebody out, a lot of times what I do is I basically make them earn it. And I'd be like, well, I'll give it to you, but can you do me a favor? And I might say, well, I need this. If it's a paper that I need written, if I need you to run to pick up something on the other side of town, go to the post office or something. And so if you basically get in a position where you feel like that, if you know you lacking something, you might have today, I got 2 things to do. I got to go over here and pick up something. Then I got to go on the other side of town. I don't know if I'm going to make it, but then it's okay to say, well, you know what? Can you do me a favor? You already know you might give it to them, but make them earn it. And then you take the guilt factor out of it. And then you getting something for your money. Because 90% of the time, we ain't getting no return on our investment. for the money. And you have to think about it from a business standpoint. And sometimes you do this because you keep your peace of mind. Because when we start having expectations of giving money, getting it back, knowing we might need it, if we felt like we got something in return for it, then it don't stress us as much. So this is a game that you may have to play with yourself because believe me, it didn't had a lot of y'all. You don't have to say no names, but it had some people messed up by spreading themselves too thin by trying to save everybody by giving the money out. And so these beliefs that this is wrong, no, make people earn the things that you give them. And I guarantee your mental is going to be a whole lot better. It's going to be a whole lot better. And that's not that you're not giving it from the heart. See, this whole, we got this belief that, we got to do it from the heart. We got to do it from the heart. Yeah, you can still do it from the heart, but you still know people. You got to do it from the brain because you know certain people that you ain't going to get it back next Friday when they say they was going to give it. You know the history of most people not going to pay you back timely if they pay you back. So if you can get something out of it, then you kind of take away the whole, I guess, this disappointment if you don't get it back when you want because they did do something in return for you. And you have to trick yourself like that sometimes because it's going to be if you're a giver, givers are probably the most abused people. Givers are the most abused people. If you know that you're a giver, you gotta play these type of games and understand it's okay because we have a belief that we don't supposed to do this and we're gonna give from the heart and all of that. You still get common sense. You still get common sense. And at some point you gotta stop learning a lesson. Because after one or two times, it ain't no lesson no more. It's a choice.
Out.
Yeah, after one or two times, it ain't no lesson no more. It's a choice. When you constantly giving, and you constantly being broken, expecting people to give it back and don't have enough to do what you need to do because you gave it from the heart. That's a choice because still to this day, you still haven't seen that big blessing that you was looking for. Now we're gonna get somebody to bless us sometime, but if you're a good person, that blessing gonna come regardless. People gonna bless you anyway. That wasn't because you gave money that you didn't have or you helped people that really was going to abuse the situation. We just got to use common sense sometimes. So stop believing that we got to do these things and we're going to get blessings for them. If we give all our money away or we help people that we know that ain't helping themselves. Money don't work like that. Money don't work like that.
Woo. So now, Brian, I got to take the church through a deliverance for those of you who have ever said, well, God gonna bless me. You did something and you said, God gonna bless me. Lift your hands. Father God, I repent for lying on you when you never told me to do that in the first place. How many of you have done that? I'm gonna post that on my page. How many of you have said, I'm gonna do this and God's gonna bless me? How many times have you and lied on God? So we mad at him. This is juicy. Ooh, this is juicy. We lied on him. We upset with him when he never told us to do it in the first place. My God, today. Oh my God. Oh, this is so good. And the first year in Clubhouse, Brian, I gave all my money in my classes away. I gave so much of what I tell you. The second year it was a little less. And this third year we made 3 years. So now we're going into the fourth year. I'm getting that embedded Baptist side of me is dying slowly every single day, and I'm loving it. I had somebody reach out to me. I want to ask you something. It was somebody from my hometown. And I said, I'll send you my link, but there's a charge for that. Oh, well, I just want to know you can't just ask me a question anymore because I spent years frustrated watching people soar because I allowed them. So I had to take ownership of me. And I'm telling you, I've had people upset. I've had people cuss me out. I have people say, you think you all this and that. No, I'm a full-time entrepreneur. I'm a business consultant. You don't go to the Chinese people where they weave and not pay them, right? Absolutely. So then this is another thing I adopted, Brian. Really, really, and it was really juicy too, is when God gave me the revelation, you're giving classes away to people who go to work every single day. And when I tell you, I cried like a baby. He said, you're giving classes to people who say, Dr. Tavis, I can't take your class, but they go to work every single day and they get a paycheck. How about you ask them to go ask their boss, I'm going to work for free for a week for you. And when I got that concept, when I tell you, Brian, I was like, oh, wow. Wow. So I started saying it, and more and more and more, I stopped just letting people, you can just come to the class. Everybody that you just letting do that, for those of you in business, they go to work every day. So if they can't afford to take your class, they can't afford to take it. They still get their paycheck. And then I cried because think about all the food that I allowed to be taken out of Tyler's mouth, Adrian's mouth, and now my grandchildren. And it's like, oh, wow. Somebody reached out to me. I said, Dr. Tavis, I want to talk. No, you don't want to talk to me about that. You can pay me to talk to you about that because you want to talk to me on your lunch break and you getting a check. You getting paid while you're talking to me on your lunch break. You get what I'm saying, Brian? It was the craziest thing, but the most soothing thing that I ever had to have a come to Jesus meeting with myself. And it has nothing to do with anybody else. It just had, I'm being transparent about my limited belief system that really a lot of these people like Joanne has watched God change my belief system. And I'm so grateful for it because I'm grateful it happened publicly so that people can see what happens when you surrender and you say, okay, but I'm going to change this. Okay, I'm going to change it. Okay, I'm going to stop doing this. I'm going to stop. I even stopped doing certain classes because no, I'm not doing that. Not anymore. And so we have to realize what is blocking us. And I want you to speak next, Joanne. But what is blocking us is us. It's not God. Brian, my strategies work. You know this for yourself. I can give somebody a strategy that it'll last them for the next 30, 40 years in business. My strategies work. So why I felt like I should give them away for free. You get a blessing, you get a blessing. Well, it goes down into childhood and my past and all of that kind of stuff. But the more healing that I get, the more value I place on what I bring to the table. And the more you do that, you'll start attracting those that can pay. And when you stop letting people in your classes free, or you stop giving people free advice or free products, they're going to fall off anyway. And you can't get mad because you set the tone for them to quote unquote use you. You set the tone for them to use you. So no, you have to readjust. And I pray that these conversations are helping you to readjust in the manner that you need to. I'm going to say this, Joanne, and then I'm going to let you go. So you like, Dr. Tavis, what do I do? Well, number one, the first thing you got to do is identify and acknowledge the belief. You've got to recognize and acknowledge the limited beliefs that is hindering your financial abundance. And awareness is the very first steps towards that. That is the very first step. I don't have to give you my class for free. I can have a heart for you and you can sit right over there and pick up you an extra shift and come back and pay me. And so some of you are going to have to retreat people how to treat you because you taught them how to treat you today. So when you start shifting, and Joanne, you watch this happen to me publicly, when you start shifting and you start changing, people will leave, people will come back, people will do whatever it is they need to do. Joanne, I yield to you.
This is a very good conversation. Good morning, Dr. Tavis. Good morning, Mr. Brian. Thank you for always showing up, giving us the tea on Tuesday. You know, as Dr. Tavis, as you said, when me watching you transition and watch people come and go, you know, sticking the long haul will help you get where you need to be. But so often people do, when you offer the free services, they feel like they can take them and run and I got it all together now and then have to come back. It's a patience thing. You have to take your time at what you're doing. And even with the, like when I get big wins and I wanted to see everybody win, I'm going to help everybody else. And then I'm watching everybody else prosper while I'm sitting here trying to figure out how to pay these bills the following month. You have to concern yourself with you and believe in you and that you can do this and that God has given you the vision and follow your vision and stop trying to make sure everybody else win. Now I'm not saying just leave everybody by the wayside, but as the Lord said, everything is decent and in order. So until you get yourself in order and in decency, you really can't do what it is God would have you to do. So you have to focus on yourself and get yourself in order, get your taxes in order, get your all your back systems and everything lined up, because then that way you'll be able to follow through with all that God would have you to do. And I'll yield there.
Okay. Oh, thank you so much, Joanne. That was so good. I got true, y'all. That was so good. When I tell you, I want y'all to raise your hand. Does anybody need to come up today and publicly make a declaration to themselves that they're going to stop doing that, that they're going to put themselves first, and that they're going to really use reasoning, really use reasoning with the things that they're going to do when it comes to their finances? Because we're getting ready to tap into saving that $1,000. And if you're going to save that $1,000, honey, you're going to have to do things a little bit different. That means you may have to sacrifice Starbucks. That means you may have to sacrifice something. Now is the time. I'm telling you, if you start now, by the end of the year, number one, it's called discipline, right? It's called discipline. Number one, I'm going to look at these limited beliefs. I'm going to look at what's blocking me. I'm going to look at what's stopping me. And then I'm going to do something about it. Oh my God. I'm going to take radical action. Radical action. Radical action. And it's those radical actions that you're going to be able to see a big difference in the way you do things and how you do things, Brian. Let's keep talking, Brian. And does anybody want to come up and engage in this conversation? Because the breaker's anointing is on my life, and I believe that things are shifting even as we speak. Things are shifting and things are changing on the inside of you, and this conversation is going to help you find the resources that you need to navigate into this next space, Brian.
Nah, yeah, but and Dr. Tavis, that's the thing, is that a lot of people already know, and that be the thing. I think what we be talking about, a lot of people already know their situation. They already know what they're dealing
No, Brian. No. I got to stop you there, Brian. They don't. No,
with.
let me tell you, Brian. No,
No,
Brian.
no, what? I
You've
mean,
known. No, Brian, you've known because you've always been money conscious. I did not realize, Brian, that I had an issue with limited beliefs about money until it's been brewing, but until I really got a seed this week. It was $1,000 seed. And I was like, okay, let me sow into so and so. And God said, no, every time I give you money, you're giving it away. That's for you. And I cried like a baby at all the money that I had given away because of my limited belief about money. So I started going down that path, Brian, of where did this come from? And I got to the root of it, Brian. I'm fasting too. I got to the root of that thing. So, Brian, I'm telling you, y'all, I need for at least 3 of you to come up to the stage and let Brian know, Brian, I really didn't know this. Brian, I
no,
really didn't understand this. I really didn't know this
no,
situation, Brian. I didn't
yeah.
know that I
See,
was in my financial situation because I was giving it away. I thought I was doing what God wanted me to do, and God's gonna bless me, and He's gonna give it back to me. When He said, "No, you always giving your money away," I heard it so clearly on Monday morning, Brian. I cried like a baby so much I need an IV. I'm telling you. I know that's dramatic, but I'm serious.
but obviously, like you don't know the technical term. You don't know the psychology behind it. You don't know that you have limited beliefs, but you know it don't feel right when you giving this money away. You know you fighting with yourself. You
No,
no,
Brian,
I'm telling
no,
you,
you don't know
a
it
lot
until
of
you need
people,
more
a
money.
lot of people,
Joanne, when
they
you
will
tell
fight
Brian
with
you don't realize
themselves.
it, no, Brian,
Uh,
no.
I, I
Most of these people
guarantee
in
you,
this
Dr.
room,
Tavis. I guarantee
they
you,
don't know.
I guarantee you, some of these people on here have a fight with themselves about if they should, if they shouldn't. If they should, I should because God gonna bless me. I shouldn't because I know I gotta get this and I gotta get my child. So you have that fight. So when I talk about not doing it, not everybody may not have it because some people may wholeheartedly say, no, well, God want me to do this. And they gonna get, but I guarantee you a good bit of people on here have that fight when it comes to giving money because that's a human that's human in us and most of the time. So not everybody's done that, but I tell you, so when I say you know right from wrong, like you can feel it in your gut sometime, like I shouldn't be doing this, but I know I'm gonna get blessed. So you get the feeling, you know, it's already a sign in you that tells you. So you be knowing sometime that I shouldn't be doing this, but I'm gonna do it. And you go against your intuition. So when I say it in that term, I guarantee you, not everybody, but I guarantee you there's some people on here that have that fight with themselves every time they have to give some money or lend some money.
Not when it comes to our children. See, the most of the people in this room, and I'm gonna be honest with you, Brian, of at least 10 people can put up a exclamation point. Most of the people in the room, their problem is when they get money. Okay, I'm gonna do this for my child. I'm gonna do this for my child. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. It's back to that thing where you said about children, about our children. I'm gonna do this for my child. Okay, I can do this now. Now that I got this, I can do this for my child. And God is saying these children are grown. They are grown. You and there are two people that's connected that God has told them stop doing so much for, not even just through me. Stop doing for your grown children. That's why your finances like it is. I'm telling you, Brian. Let's hear from the women on the stage. Lynette first, and then Nadine. And y'all put in the chat if I'm correct and you don't come on this stage. Put it in the chat box, please. That Brian, I'm guilty.
Good morning. Good morning, Dr.
Lynette.
Tavis. Good morning, Brian. Good morning, Coach Joanne, and good morning to everyone in the listening lounge and Regal Auntie Nadine. Brian, you were talking to me. I had to learn not long ago that sometimes when we're giving, especially when God did not tell us to give, sometimes we're taking the lesson away from somebody. Sometimes the person will never learn that you have to stop what you're doing and save and build your savings up or build your savings up to get what you want. So there's wisdom in that. And God doesn't always tell us to give. When He tells us to give, we should absolutely be obedient and give, and He will bless us in our obedience and for our obedience. But it takes wisdom to spend the money right. So, something that I did with my children is I would give them money and say, this has to last you for the week. If they spent it, oh, I'm sorry, you had to learn how to save. And then I stretched it. Okay, this is the money that you get for every 2 weeks, and you have to make it work for you. And when they went without, they had to learn the lesson. Okay, let me break this down. Let me spend this. This is how much I can spend a day. Or if I want something, bigger, then I have to do that. But you're right on. You're spot on. And I thank you for sharing.
Well, thank
Thank
you
you
for
so much,
coming up.
Lynette.
Yeah, and definitely giving that information. And the one thing about me, and it may be even to a fault, I have so much faith in black folks now in the sense of we're very resourceful. We're very resourceful. If you take something away from somebody, they'll adapt.
Oh,
They'll
okay.
adapt and they'll make and find a way. Because how many times have you told somebody no and you talk to that person again and you say, did you get that taken care of? Oh yeah, I worked it out. And that's always the case. And that's why I have so much faith in black folks. So when people tell me, well, I can't afford to invest, I can't afford to do these things, I can't afford to give money, I tell people, I guarantee you, if you take $50 a month out of your spending and you put that into an investment, you will adjust your lifestyle to now work without that $50. And that's how people are. And so when you think like that, you take the whole guilt out of, well, I don't want them, they bill to be, I don't want their phone to get cut off, so I'm gonna give them this money. I don't want it. I guarantee you they will get resourceful. They will call that phone company and say, well, what I'm gonna do is if y'all can work with me, I'll give you $11 a week. They'll find a way. And so when you start thinking like that, always believe that people will work it out. And that kind of cuts back on you now feeling guilty because we feel guilty because they got a child, they got a baby, we don't want to do that. And folks will hit you with that and put that guilt trip on you all the time. But I guarantee you, they will work it out.
Brian, you are so correct. And I'm telling you, um, so that means though sometimes we have to get delivered from that need to be needed. We have to get delivered from that need to be liked. We have to get delivered from being having that spirit of codependency, people being dependent on us. All of those things have to take place, Brian. I remember there was a client that I had when she came, she had absolutely nothing. She had lost her job, very smart lady. And everything that I took, I'd be like, okay, yes, you can take it. Thank you, Dr. Tavis. You can take, thank you, Dr. Tavis. As soon as she got her breakthrough and got a job making $100,000, and people in this room know this, she went and paid $4,000 to something else, got too good for the Single Mompreneur Club, and left. When I tell you, that's what you did. She never promised. Well, she did promise that she was gonna come back and pay, but what you're saying is so true. People will find a way. They really, really will. They'll find a way to do exactly what they need to do. And several people got stories like that, not just me, but people find a way to do what they need to do. Brian, you're so right. Nadine?
Good morning, Dr. Tavis. Good morning, Brian. Good morning, Coach John. Good morning, Regal. Lynette, how are you this morning? Everybody else who's here. This message is so good. I just had to stop what I was doing and get on this morning because the adult child, not the children, I have two girls, just one. Where we are right now is we are on the bleeding side. Mommy, I need, 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 mommy, I need. And it's like, when does the mommy I need stop? And like you said, Dr. Tavis, you get money so much. I make money. I get money. I make great money. God has blessed me, but I feel like I have to do that. You get 1,000, you get 1,000, you get 500, you get one. And I'm not doing what God tells me to do. So when this last week when we had the reveal in our fasting at 5 a.m. and reveal myself, God, reveal what are the stumbling blocks in my life. This is what he showed me, that I keep blessing you. You ask me to bless you. I bless you. And then you give it away without my permission. So you're being disobedient and you're not stewarding the blessings I'm giving you well. So this is really, really talking to me today. Thank y'all so much.
Brian, this is so juicy, Brian. When I tell you, this is one of the great classes that we've had on today, Brian, because this is what we need to hear. This is what we need to know. This is what's going to, when we come back and we are doing our escorts and doing everything and hiring Brian, we're gonna have the money to do all of that because we are setting boundaries now, today, Brian. I want to yield to you, honey. You are in here. You didn't even know you was part of the deliverance ministry. My God, today, now you in ministry. Let me come and ordain you. Brian, I yield to you.
All right, yeah, and we gotta stay firm to that too, Dr. Tabby, because like with my daughter, I have the means to help her out and give her more and do more, but I don't at this point because I've given her at least three opportunities to earn money with me now. With her skill set and what she does for her business and what I need, I'm like, I keep giving you opportunity to come a part of my team. This is what I need. You have an opportunity to make money, to earn money doing what you do. And so I'm not going to feed you when I got the opportunity to help you get money and you don't take advantage of that, then yeah. So we got to understand, we got to put our children in position if we want them to be better, because what we're doing is building for the future. We're building them to be better people, better human beings, better business people. And so we got to start really understanding they gonna make it happen. If they don't get whatever they trying to get from you, they gonna find a way. And I'm not talking about illegally or anything, but I'm just saying they gonna now. What can I do to start earning some money? How can I help you? Do you want me to do your graphics? Do you want me to do this? Or do you have any clients that I can help? They'll find a way. But as long as we keep feeding that, and so personally, like I say, I'm dealing with that to where, I'm not really feeding my daughter because I'm giving her too many opportunities to earn her own money. And as long as she have an opportunity to earn, then it's gonna be hard for me to give. Does that make sense?
That makes perfectly good sense, Brian. And these ladies know exactly what you're talking about because about a month ago in our 5 a.m., The Lord told us, He said, y'all are looking for other people to hire your children. I'm telling you to get your businesses together and in order so that you can hire them to actually work for you. So, Brian, this is in line with what He's telling us, right, Joanne? This is definitely in line with what God is saying. And we are taking notes. We are taking notes and we are executing as well. I would say this has been such an amazing conversation on today as we're talking about limited belief systems and money blockages. And we couldn't even get past the fact that we give out a gift, that we give away our blessings, that we give away our blessings and say, I just need more money. God, how can I have more money? Well, calculate how much you gave to each child this month. Calculate how much you gave to um, Starbucks this month. Calculate how much you gave to that friend of yours that you always give money to and she don't do any work for you. Calculate that for the last 6 months and see what you come up with. Wait a second. Oh, so I don't have to stay 6 months. Calculate, and I'm not talking about your young children, and you probably need to put them on a little budget too, but calculate how much you have spent on them that was in excess. That's your $1,000. That's your savings. That's your trip to Cancun. That's your trip to Uruguay. That's paying off your credit card. That's the down payment on your house. My God, today, ouch. This message and this word on today, I'm pretty sure if I ask my coaching colleagues that are on the stage now, they will say this message on today has been a timely word, a sobering word, and a word that we will all implement. Brian, I want to yield to you for some final words.
All right. Well, so like I always tell my clients or people that I speak to or my mentees, you can lie to me, but you can't lie to yourself. You know what's right, what's wrong. Well, you know what's in your gut, I would say. And 90% of the time, your gut is right. And if it's not, live with the consequences because you did what you thought was right at the time. And I'm not saying let your kids suffer and fall, but make them earn. Everybody else is not your obligation. We thinking that our goal is to save everybody. That no, and believe me, I used to have that thought process, and still do, still want to say, but I know the timing ain't right. I know the timing ain't right. I still want to help everybody. I still want to be a blessing to everybody. But again, you can't help the poor by being one of them. And if you try to help all of the poor, you're going to become one of them. So be smart. Because everybody on here, if I ask you were you an intelligent person, you'd be like, oh, wow, you didn't have to ask that. Oh, but it's a given that I'm intelligent. I have a degree. Then make intelligent decisions and not emotional. And that's what it comes down to, basically making emotional decisions. Again, God gives you the discernment to make smart decisions. This is why the brain is so powerful. So everything is on God. We use God as an excuse a lot of times when we know better. And He'll say, I didn't tell you that. So, let's be intentional, man, in the decisions we make. Let's trust our gut, and let's basically become better with our finances. And all of it is basically through your beliefs. Change your beliefs about money, and you'll change your lifestyle.
Wow. Thank you so much, Brian. Today is Tuesday. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. This is Brian's Tax Tuesday. What's going on tonight, G?
Yeah, we're going to talk about a few things tonight. We're going to get into some tax strategies. Yes, a lot of principles now because I've been talking about a lot of different principles for mindset. And then also I got a guest on, Rick Mathis, which is Rick Mathis is a very popular filmmaker, and his new movie is called B1, the movie. And B1 is basically what B1 stands for is Black First. And it just a lot of it talks about how as black people we have to take care, support, uplift us first before we try to bring everybody else. So it's almost the same thing we're talking about you doing you first. But this is more like as a community, we got to basically make sure that we take care of us before we start trying to support every other community. Because if not, we're going to all suffer. But yeah, so I'll interview him tonight. But yeah, it's going to be very impactful.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Brian. I'm excited about that on tonight. And hey, if you click on the link above, the very, very first link is LB Tax LLC, the premier tax company. And so you can catch up with Brian there. If you would like to work with me, or even we have a webinar here, Turn Your Passion into Profit, just different things in the link. You can go there and you can catch up with some of the things that I have going on as well. This has been an amazing conversation on today. It's been thought provoking on today, too, as well, Brian. And I believe that on today, we're going to make some changes. I know I am, and I know I have, and I know I will. And I'm going to take this conversation probably into our prayer on tonight, if I can remember to, because if we're going to, because a lot of people during this fasting that we're doing have been asking for their finances to change and to shift. And lo and behold, Brian, you just told us one of the ways. Stop giving everybody money. My God, today. And if you have friends, which now this is one thing that they can tell you, Joanne, Dr. Stella, I do. They do things for me. Listen, I pay them, or we swap class, whatever the case may be. So I have finally adopted that, to pay my friends instead of giving people money. And I'm good at that, but it's some other stuff that I'm having to get delivered from as well. But Brian, this conversation has been thought provoking, and I do believe that we'll be making some changes. Thank you all so much for joining. Make sure you're following Rich Boy Brian Jubert on social media, all social media platforms, and make sure you stay connected to him and his tax service and all the things that he has going on. Brian, anything else you want to add before we close out?
Yeah, just make sure y'all stay connected, man. That's the thing, because like Dr. Tavis said, we got a lot of things coming up for kids, for adults, financial literacy. I got classes coming up, so stay connected, because February is right around the corner. We're going to go a little harder, Black History Month. Then we got Financial Literacy Month in April coming up. So it's a lot of things that we're going to be doing to be very impactful for you mentally, financially, socially, and spiritually.
Cool beans. Well, make sure you all stay connected to me and Brian. And on tomorrow, I'm super excited because I have a guest in my the mastermind group and the mentorship group. We're meeting together tomorrow. We have a special guest, Tenji Collins, who was he used to work for TMZ, the show TMZ, as a bureau chief, and he's coming in to talk to us about TikTok. He's been at the table with the owners, or those that run TikTok. So a lot of people are talking about, I need to make more money. I need to make more money. Well, he's going to give us a scoop on TikTok and how we can bring in some income doing exactly what we do every single day. Hey, I'm Dr. Tavish, your business strategist and your coaching catalyst. Take you to the next level, shifting your mindset one conversation at a time. This is the Brian and Tavish Show. Oh, that sounds good, Brian, right? But thank you all so much for joining. This room will be closing in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Make it a great day. Bye.